Hello and welcome. You're watching Markets Today. I'm Sakshi, and on this edition, we discuss everything about the stock markets, how the markets have opened in trade today, what are the early indications like, which are the sectors in focus, the stocks in focus as well, and what are the triggers that will overarchingly impact the investor sentiment going forward from here in the entire session as well. All of that coming up in the next 3 to 4 minutes, so stay tuned. Let's start off with the opening action for the benchmarks, the Sensex and the Nifty. It's been a lower start on the back of weak news that we've been seeing from US markets, which slipped about 1% in trade. All the indices on the US markets, Asian markets also were tracking this weakness and were seen trading lower in the early action, trickling in into the Indian markets as well. Well, for Sensex, it was down 399 odd points right at opening day, 0.7% lower. It opened at 57,285. The Nifty was down 117 points and opened below 17,200 at 17,128 with a 0.6% decline at open as well. Although those opening lows are slightly getting covered up, but not too much at this point in time. Very flattish to a negative bias kind of a start for the Indian markets today. About 790 shares have seen advancing in the early action. About 930 shares were seen declining and 99 shares remained unchanged in the early action on. When you talk about some specific stocks, it's the likes of ONGC, Coal India, Hindalco, JSW Steel, and Tata Steel among the major gainers. So it's back to the commodity stocks, back to the oil and gas stocks and the metal stocks that has seen rising action. Remember, every time we do see crude oil prices rising, more uncertainties emerging out of the Russia-Ukraine war, there is a jump in the commodity prices, and that's what exactly you're looking at right now in the opening action. On the other hand, what is the losing action looking like right now? It's the banks and financial services. Those sectors that dragged yesterday as well are seen dragging in today's trading session too. Kotak Mahindra Bank, ICICI Bank, Hero MotoCorp, Bajaj Finance, and Asian Paints are some of the stocks that are lower in the early trading action. Now, experts do see that the street is expecting that US Fed will go for aggressive rate hikes in May and June to contain inflation, and that's something that is keeping the sentiments lower at this point in time. The biggest headwinds, experts say, for stock markets across the globe is the surging inflation. While central banks across the world will ramp up the fight against the rapidly rising inflation, while acknowledging the pressures right there, which could persist for years, driven in part by the crisis in Ukraine as well. Technically, experts do believe it's a make or break support for the Nifty at the psychological level of 17,000. Below 17,000 zone, there could be sell off and which could take the index down to 16,691 as well. On the upside, however, if the market sustain above 17,500, we can definitely see a jump towards 17,900 as well. Now, as far as the macro and the micro update is concerned, we do see that Vladimir Putin now wants unfriendly countries to pay for Russian gas in rubles. That's the kind of statement coming in. As far as India is concerned, the urban unemployment has fallen, but it does stay above the pre-second wave level as well. India has also crossed the $400 billion dollar milestone in exports for the first time for this fiscal year. And this is a healthy performance by sectors such as petroleum products and gems and jewelry and chemicals. The merchandise exports have actually risen by almost 37% to over $400 billion this time around. So that's something which is being seen as a positive for the Indian macro data as well. On the other hand, globally speaking, you do have inflationary concerns such as UK talking about a 30-year inflation hitting at 6.2%. The US news home sales have declined for February for a second month in a row. Again, sentiments been downgraded as far as consumer buying is concerned. Then Singapore February head prices, which is the inflation, has also risen at the fastest pace in 9 years as well at 4.3 odd percent. So inflationary concerns across the globe definitely something that all the markets are tracking at this point in time. Domestically speaking, a whole host of stocks are making headlines right in the early action. Keep a note of all of them. Z Entertainment will be in focus today. Invesco has said that they will not pursue the EGM since Sony deal has achieved its purpose as well. So Z Entertainment stocks could definitely be in focus in the early action. L&T Finance. L&T has bought a total of 4 crore shares of 1.6% equity at 84.50 rupees per equity share. The stock will be in focus again. ICICI Bank, although lower in the early action, is in focus because RBI has given nod for SBI Group to acquire up to 9.99% in the bank as well. Hero MotoCorp is in focus for the wrong reasons as well. The stock is down. The IT department officials have visited two offices for raids, and company has said it is a routine visit, while the report suggests that there is a raid on the checking of the evasion of taxes of sorts as well. Nelco is in focus because the strategic agreement with Omni Space for 5G via satellite services is going to be in focus as well. IGL is in focus. Of course, we have seen PNG prices rise overnight. Hikes in domestic piped natural gas or PNG prices by 1 rupees per unit. So that is going to be a stock that will be in focus. Of course, the stock is rising in action. ONGC and Oil India will be other stocks in focus as the crude prices continue to rise up high, and the Brent crude is now seen trading at $123 per barrel as well. On the losing side, of course, Kotak Mahindra Bank, which is one of the top losers, is in focus because Canada Pension Fund is going to sell up to 2% equity in the company, and that is why the stock is seeing some declines. Sun Pharma is in focus as it is planning to pay $485 million to plaintiff groups for settling the dispute right there. The stock will be in focus as well. Oil marketing companies definitely will be on the downside as the crude oil prices have jumped up again, and they will be under pressure to raise prices. Although after 2 days of consecutive rise on petrol and diesel prices, today there hasn't been any effective rise on the petrol pumps. So they will be under pressure with the rising crude oil prices now to suddenly increase more times petrol and diesel prices as well. So that's as far as the opening action is concerned. But overall speaking, the overarching theme across the globe is the macro data and the developments coming from Ukraine, Russia. As far as that situation comes under uncertainty, there will be continuous volatility that you can expect on global markets, especially India as well. We'll keep you in loop with everything that's developing on D-Street. And for that, you need to stay tuned on to Business Today. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks a lot for tuning in.